Created exclusively for computer music by analogue-modelling gurus Acustica Audio, Violet CM is a flavoursome multiband compressor that combines a 3-band dynamics processing algorithm based upon the legendary thermionic culture the Phoenix, with a 3-way crossover inspired by the equally revered TubeTech SMC2B multiband compressor. Using the same dynamic sampling and Volterra non-linear convolution technology used in Acustica's other products, Violet CM is a special plugin that's ideal for adding expensive valve magic and multiband smoothing to individual sounds, buses, or your master output, and you can only get it with Computer Music Magazine. In this tutorial, we'll run through every facet of Violet CM and show you a few ways to use a multiband mastering compressor of this caliber. Violet CM splits the incoming signal into 3 bands. With the crossover high and low controls, each offering 6 fixed frequency options that are used to set the frequency ranges of each band. The crossover filters have a gentle 6 dB an octave slope. Change these to a more aggressive 24 dB an octave by hitting the crossover multiplier switch. Dialing and compression is simple. Gain reduction will occur when a band's input signal breaches its threshold value. Attack sets the time it takes for maximum gain reduction to occur. While release determines how long it will take the signal to return to normal. Each band features a makeup gain dial. Use this to re-level the volume of each band post-compression. The input trim dial controls the volume level of the incoming signal. Pushing the input trim up progressively drives the signal harder into each band. At high input levels, this emulates the behaviour of a valve compressor, giving a similar effect to using a high compression ratio on a FET or solid-state compressor. One of the best tricks up Violet CM's sleeve is the SH mod control, which lets you change the behaviour and shape of the compression attack time, dramatically altering the character and feel of the compression. Setting the dial between 0 and 1 will give the fastest attack time with look ahead, ideal for a more transparent sound. while setting the dial to 2 will precisely emulate the behaviour of the original kit. SH mod values between 2 and 4 will give a slower attack time with a smoother attack curve. Great when you want a lazier, gentler effect. The pre button switches in the harmonic distortion and tone generated by the circuits of the original hardware unit. While there's room for experimentation, leave it off if you're after as clean a tone as possible, or switch it on if you're looking to add a harmonic richness and bite to your signal. When pre is engaged, you can also drive the input trim into the circuitry for even more saturation. Violet CM's wet and dry control allows you to mix together the compressed, wet, and original, dry signal, which is ideal for parallel processing without the use of fiddly send and return setups. Try activating the pre button, then with all threshold controls at 0, push the mix to 15%. This will blend in subtle warmth to your mix. Let's now use Violet CM to demonstrate how to set up a multiband compressor when mastering. Drop a stereo pre-master file on your arrange page, duplicate the channel, then mute the first channel. We can now easily A and B between the raw and processed versions. We'll add Violet CM ZL on the duplicate channel, the zero latency version of the plugin. In our track, the snare is sitting a bit too far above of the music and vocals, so let's compress the midband to rein it in. Mute Violet CM's low and high bands to focus on the mid-range, then adjust the crossover low and high dials until the snare is most prominent. We've gone for 150 Hz and 4 kHz in this scenario. After unmuting Violet CM's low and high bands, we'll set the mid threshold to around -36 dB. Dialing in the attack at 2 will catch more of the loud snare hit, while setting a release of 3 will make the compression release more promptly for a musical sound. We'll add around 2 dB of makeup gain to bring the band's level back into check. To hear the difference our compression has made, A/B between the raw and processed mixes. You'll hear that the mid-range detail is now enhanced in our processed version, with the music and vocal taking more prominence. Bring on the dubplate sound. Away upon the bass down. Bring on the dubplate sound. Dubplate sound. Dubplate sound. Next, we'll embellish and smoothen the track's sub-bass frequencies. Start by setting the low band's attack to 1 and release to 4. Here, setting the threshold to around -30 dB trips gain reduction. Our fast attack and relatively slow release times cause the compressor to clamp down on the track's kick drum, enhancing low-end sustain. About 2 dB in makeup gain brings up the band's level post-gain reduction. Giving the entire mix the kind of solid low end you'd expect from a deep dub reggae track. As well as being a deluxe tool for mastering, Violet CM can be used to add flavour and bounce to vanilla samples. Try placing Violet CM onto a stock drum loop with the crossover low dial set to around 250 Hz. This will place most of the kick drum's energy into the low band. Next, set the low attack to 2 and release to 1. So the compressor lets the initial transient through, but quickly stops acting. Adjust the threshold until you get around 3 dB of gain reduction. And apply a little makeup boost to keep those levels in check. Violet CM's program-dependent nature makes it a winner for fixing issues with vocal recordings. This vocal isn't consistent enough in the all-important mid-range, particularly as the vocalist gets towards the top of her range. We'll tidy this up by setting the crossover low and high controls to 300 Hz and 1.2 kHz respectively. Before dialing in an attack of 2 and release of 4 for the mid-band. A threshold setting of -32 dB will give around 4 to 6 dB of gain reduction, with 4 dB of makeup gain, helping to make the softer passages of the vocal much more audible. We'll A and B to hear the effect. You can use Violet CM to apply focused parallel compression to the high frequencies of a stereo mix. Here, we start by setting the crossover high dial to 3.2 kHz then dialing in an attack of 1 and a release of 4 on the high band so that the compressor acts quickly and releases more slowly. Setting SH mod to 0 makes the attack time sound even faster. A threshold of -48 dB. And a makeup gain of 8 dB. Gives us around 8 to 10 dB of gain reduction. With a wet-dry mix of 20%, adding high frequency strength without excessively colouring the rest of the mix. If Violet CM is whetting your appetite for more analogue vibes, check out Acustica Audio's other products, including their flagship Nebula 4 for €299, which is bundled with a 10GB library containing models of over 450 drill-worthy EQ, preamp, compressor, tape saturation and reverb units. Find out more at www.acustica-audio.com.